Today, though, we have in brighter news in Manchester, United Kingdom, right? Sponsor Richard Greening from DDC FPO. Yeah. He's the global technical director at DDC. We are going to bring him up. Let's hope this works. All right, let's see. For 5 good minutes.
5, count of 5, 5 good minutes.
Hey, Richard, are you there?
Hey, Tim, how are you?
How's it going, sir? You're dialing in from or VoIPing in. I love technology from Manchester, right?
Absolutely, sir.
Are you a huge soccer fan, football fan?
Yeah, but I'm also an American football fan too. So I used to play American football when I was younger. So I kind of go the other way. I'm a Brit that also appreciates the American sports.
Well, hey, Richard, this is Chad. I'm just wondering. Is
other than him,
is the NFL gaining some traction in the UK, or is it just kind
massively? No, genuinely massively.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We were saying before we went on air that like the Jaguars games that we've seen at like Wembley and the different stadiums they've played them at have been more full than a lot of at least the poorly performing teams in the U.S. have done.
Like the San Diego, the L.A. Chargers. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the same owners, right? So I think Fulham Football Club is the same owners as the Jaguars.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no wonder. So are a lot of Jaguar fans out there, or is it like just
Fulham fans that are Jaguar fans because of the link between the clubs, and they do a lot of discount on tickets, etc. But I think this season, and I might be wrong, I think there's at least 6 regular season games that are being held in the UK, which is really cool. And I've got friends that when I used to play it, they weren't interested in American football at all.
Wow.
And now, I'm in WhatsApp groups where they're debating the games, they're watching them on Sky Sports. It genuinely is really starting to take off.
What position did you play?
So I was tight end, wide receiver, and then I played safety as well. So
tight ends are usually one of the smartest guys on the team. I worked with a tight end from Harvard at my last job. Very, very smart cat.
Oh, you just say that's all the tight ends.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about his background?
Anyone with a tight end.
Richard, you have a really interesting background too, because you have a lot of eSports going on there. That's something that's just starting to emerge in the United States, but I found that really curious too. How'd you get into eSports?
Research. I didn't realize you guys had done that much research.
Of course.
My background's always been in technology. So that's where I started. So I started as like an IT manager or head of IT. And then I kind of got to branch out and do some interesting things. And I did some work with a TV station over here in the UK, where we originally went in to do sort of their tech stuff, and they happened to have a technical channel, which then became eSports. So I got dragged into that stuff. But that was, I was doing that stuff 10, 15 years ago. It's come an awful long way.
Yes, it has. It is. I think you could make a living at that, and some of the kids are doing it. Well, speaking of tech, Richard, what are some of the top tech trends for transportation that you've seen in 2019?
So the first thing when you guys kind of pop me through the email, the first thing we need to break out here really is the difference between buzzwords and hype cycles and actual like real world adoption. So when it comes to the hype cycles, things like AI, machine learning, robotics, blockchain, immersive experiences are all the kind of the things that people hear again and again. They come to the conferences, they come to things like FreightWaves Live, and they get an idea for what it is, but have no idea how it will apply to them or when it will apply to them. Right. And the trick, I guess, is really it comes down to when does it become cost effective or simple enough for people to adopt that stuff. So, those are they're still the buzzwords, they're still the hype cycles. And one of the things we had at the Bitter Symposium a few weeks ago in Chicago, we were talking about hype cycles quite heavily. And the reality is what technology does is it kind of a concept comes along like blockchain or something like that, or even immersive experiences like VR and AR. And then what happens is there's a load of buzz because everyone's interested and wants to know how it works. And then it kind of dies away, but then it comes back. But when it comes back, it's not known as blockchain and VR and AR. It's part of the actual real world application. So things like blockchain, for example, is like when that starts being adopted in the real world, people aren't going to go, "Oh, I've got a great blockchain solution."
Yeah, you wouldn't think about it, right?
We've changed our systems, and it happens to have a decentralized ledger, or it happens to do this, it happens to do that. But they're not going to be flying the blockchain flag. So if we dump the kind of buzzwords and all that stuff, and this is all stuff that's going to be on the roadmap for the next 3-5+ years that will drip feed through. Unfortunately, when it comes to logistics, and so again, it's an industry I've spent a lot. I managed to get out of, do the TV stuff, and then firmly got dragged back into. It is the slightly less sexy stuff that that comes back through. So the reality is, if people out there want to know what's really happening and what companies are making inroads are, it is things like app development is probably the biggest one this year. There's a lot of different reports, but I think the Gartner report says something like 78% of people or people surveyed would prefer a branded app experience over using a website, and the reasons for that is the quality of the experience itself, how smooth it is and how well it works, but also from a security aspect. People are now a lot more concerned about their information and where it is, and could it be breached, could it be leaked on the internet. And at the moment, people are still feeling like the security in an app is better than a website. So companies within logistics, I think this year, if I was to put a number one thing on it, it would probably be app development. People are now starting to see the value and finding smart ways to use apps on phones and tablets rather than the conventional websites.
Richard, what should people be hot on that's in terms of tech that's going on at DDC?
DDC. So we focus on data capture. That's what we do. So we do, again, using the buzzwords, so things like artificial intelligence, machine learning. That's what we do, and it's something we've had to adapt because DDC has been around for 30 years. And we started as a conventional outsource business where we put someone in and physically do your keying. So I guess what we've had to do in probably even the last 10 years is be smarter about the way we capture data too, to make it more cost effective for the client and ensure that the quality and efficiency is there. So all of the buzzwords I mentioned earlier is what we do. Robotics, so RPA is something that we're heavily involved in and making inroads are the machine learning part, OCR scanning, all of these things. But the thing with all of this, going back to it comes down to it's not the tech guy that really. You can put your recommendations forward. It's the CEO who decides where the business is going. So you've got to figure out what's going to make me money or what's going to save me money. And right. That's the real adoption of tech.
Well,
it's that simple.
Well, how do they reach out to you to find out more about how they can save that money, Richard?
Okay, so you can reach me on LinkedIn. So Richard Greening on LinkedIn, and go to our website, so the ddcgroup.com.
Okay,
thank you very much. Yeah, have a great night and a great weekend over there in the UK, and keep enjoying American football.
Yeah,
I like the 9 a.m. games. I like having football on when I'm wearing my pajamas, Chad.
Go Titans!
Take it easy. Have a good one.
All right.